It's time for us to move to Lagos, where we'll be speaking with the Academic Staff Union of Universities there. They've reeled out a long list of issues and things that they think have to be addressed before they go on that strike. And we're hearing that that strike is imminent if these things are not sorted out. So joining us right now via Zoom in Lagos, Mr. Dele Ashiru, the immediate past chairman of ASUU in University of Lagos. It's good to have you with us on the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for this invitation.
Yes, we understand. We understand that the floods in Lagos have kept you in your car, and we have to join you via Zoom in your car. Sorry about that, and all the best to everyone who's going through the same thing. But I want to be able to talk about these things that the organization at least the union in Unilag are asking for. What's really the situation right now?
Well, the situation is that the federal government is still paying lip service to the development of tertiary, especially university education in Nigeria. Over the years, we have engaged government in quite a number of issues since 2009. And up till today, 15 years after, all of those issues have remained unresolved in spite of all the strikes, all the memorandum of understanding, memorandum of action, and including the last strike action we had in 2022. So today we are mobilizing not only in Unilag, across the country, all our branches, to tell Nigerians and our students, critical stakeholders, that government is once again pushing our union to going on another round of industrial action. And because our union knows the implication of constantly going on strike on the university system, this time around, we are trying to see whether Nigerians can prevail on the Tinubu-led federal government to do what is right in our university system so that we don't witness another crisis.
I want to be able to take a look at the list of demands. I think we have a slide for that. Just so we can take a look at some of the things that you're asking, or at least your union is asking for at this particular time. I think we're going to have that up on the screen in a bit. You know, when it comes to industrial actions, while these, list of demands may be very crucial and very important, very long list there, asking for the conclusion and signing of the renegotiated agreement based on Professor Nimi Briggs' committee report and a lot of other things that are on this list of demands. One of the criticisms that you may have to deal with, Mr. Ashiru, is the fact that, many parents are probably tired of their kids being at home from one strike or the other. Almost feels like you're punishing parents and their children, their wards, for your impasse with the government. What do you make of that assertion, sir?
Well, it would be a wrong way to approach the issue if they think that we are punishing our students. No, we are not. Look, but for our struggles over the years, there may probably be no school for those children to attend today. And if you look at what is currently happening in Nigeria, you'll find out that very soon, if urgent steps are not taken, our universities will collapse. Only yesterday, the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, wrote an open letter to the president, telling the president that universities cannot afford to pay the new tariff for electricity bill. Can you run a university without electricity? That's number one. Number two, concerning our issues, although the list appear long, but all of them are byproducts of one agreement with government or the other. Let me take some time to look at the list. The first one is that our members have been receiving the same salary in the last 15 years. In fact, our salaries are better 15 years ago than they are today. Is it fair for a group of workers to be receiving the same salary in 15 years? That's number one. Number two, we are being punished for going on strike in 2022. Now, all the work that they said we didn't do in 2022, we have already done them. Our students have graduated. They have moved on with their lives. Their parents are also moving on with their lives. But up till today, of that 2022 strike, consequent upon withholding our salaries, we feel that government is not fair to us in this direction. Number three, government is at the moment owing us check-off dues, cooperative society deductions, which they took from our salaries and they have not remitted to the respective institutions where they should do so. Not only is that criminal, it is the height of insensitivity on the part of government to do so. Our members are being owed promotion arrears. Our members who went on sabbatical, who went on adjunct lectureship, have not been paid because government deployed an evil and fraudulent your money and not remit. As I speak with you, government asked us to develop an alternative platform for payment of our salaries when we criticized IPPIS. We spent our money, produced that national solution to payment problems not only in the universities, rather than government embracing that creative ingenuity of our union and of our members. They are today paying humongous money for the operation of IPPIS. So although the list appeared long, but all of those issues are tied to one consequent of to do what is right for our members. And I don't know what it is that our members, the academic staff in Nigerian universities have done to successive governments in Nigeria to deserve this kind of treatment.
Mr. Ashiru, let's take a look at the demands 7, 8, and 9, because it does feel a lot like the demands from 1 to 6 have to do with monies, you're being owed, monies you feel you should be paid, you know, and we'll get to that shortly. But you talked about the funding for the revitalization in number 7, funding for the revitalization of public universities as partly captured in the 2023 federal government budget.
Partly captured?
Yeah, so the immediate stoppage of the proliferation of universities by the federal and state governments and the deployment of the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS, instead of IPPIS. Now, these 7 to 9 do seem like things that a lot of people will back you on. But from 1 to 6 does feel a lot like we're looking at monies that you're being owed. Do you still hold the thought that it's fair, in your view, to demand these things and keep children at home at this time?
For goodness sake, is it right for government to be owing us? Is it right to go to deduct our money and not remit? Is it fair that we have been our salaries are the lowest if you consider the West African average? Is it fair that a worker will continue to work without anything, any incentive to show for it? We are not asking government to do anything that is like a favor to us. We are saying that you yourself put in the 2023 budget and academic allowances that you are owing us. Up to today, another budget has been passed. The money has not been released. Isn't that fraudulent? Doesn't that tell you something about the kind of government that we run? We are being owed promotion arrears since 2018. 2018, this is 2024. Are you saying that we have not been patient enough? Are you saying that we've not been patriotic enough to put your hands together and pay us? Look, we are not apologetic about demanding for monies that we are owed. Can you owe a bank And then when the bank comes for you to pay the money you are owing, you tell the bank stories. So I think that Nigerians need to remove this sentiment. There's no category of worker in Nigeria that is being owed the way our members are owed. And we are saying it for the opting time. We have given a reasonable period of time for government to put its act together and pay us what they are owing us. And also do what is right to avert another crisis in the university system.
Mr. Ashiru, if you would, Dr. Ashiru, my pardon, if you would hazard a guess as to how much what the federal government is owing members of your organization, what would be your speculative, and if you have a precise figure?
It's over 100 billion. What government is owing our union is over 100 billion, and that some part of that amount had been captured in the 2023 budget. So why is government not releasing it?
Okay. Now, on the one hand, what we will hear from specialists is a budget is a proposal depending on availability of funds. Is that an argument that you are sympathetic with?
No. A budget is a law. Once it's passed, it's an appropriation bill. And not monies that you are owing people. Government is indebted to us. And why is it that it's only our money that is at the level of proposal? An appropriation bill is a law. You can go to jail if you don't faithfully implement a budget. So that argument.
So exactly, one of the questions to ask then will be, Dr. Ashiru, exactly who should we be addressing this issue to right now? There are, we've heard this for the umpteenth time. Who should be speaking up about this particular matter right now, Dr. Ashiru?
Well, the Minister of Education and the President himself. If the President understands the pivotal role of tertiary education in Nigeria, he will work assiduously to ensure that these issues are resolved in favor of our members. And it doesn't take eternity to resolve all of these issues. Only recently, government says they are constructing a road, a coastal road from Lagos to Calabar, at a humongous amount of money. And that project had commenced. Here we are being owed since 2009. We are being owed promotion areas since 2018. And government is refusing to pay us in spite of all their actions. So we are saying that the buck stops on the president's table. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the one to intervene in this matter, give appropriate directives, and ensure that those directives are obeyed.
All right.
That is the way government.
Okay, Dr. Ashiru, you said that the money being owed by the federal government to your members is in the region of 100 billion naira. And notice of industrial action is from the University of Lagos branch. Is that money just for for the members of the University of Lagos branch of ASUU or the national body of ASUU?
No, it's the national body. In fact, all of these demands are national demands, where we only published those demands as part of our mobilization strategies, so that the public will get familiar with the issues that are in contention. All of those demands there are national demands. And what we are doing in UNILAG is nationally directed, just as they are doing in all other universities across the country. So it's a national demand. Okay.
So now this notice is from ASUU. Are you saying that it's
yes.
Is it an instruction from the national body of ASUU, or is this just ASUU saying that if we do not get any response from government, we're going to go on strike? Just to beg your pardon, just UNILAG, or all universities in the country?
All the universities in the country. That leaflet is a directive from the National Executive Council of our union.
But it also says University of Lagos branch.
Yeah, because we are the ones who are publishing this leaflet. But the demands are our demands, which are nationally directed.
Okay. Now, University of Lagos is under the purview of the federal government. Is this action only for universities that are owned by the federal government, or it also concerns state universities as well?
It concerns all public universities in Nigeria, whether federal or state. Our union doesn't discriminate between federal and state government because we believe that universities are universal. And the things that you get from our universities, nobody will ask you whether it's from a federal or from a state university. So these demands are from all public universities that are members of our great union.
Okay. The question then to ask Dr. Ashiru would be, because the question has also been asked variously. We are asking questions from the federal government, but then the state governments also have universities. So are you also directing this information, this conversation, this issue? Are you addressing the state governments as well? Are you asking them the same questions that you're asking the federal government?
Of course. And the regulatory agency for universities in Nigeria is National Universities Commission. There is no commission for federal university or commission for state universities. So our demands, as it affects federal universities, also affects state universities.
The question that I'm trying to get the answer to, Dr. Ashiru, is whether or not states themselves are responding to you in this particular matter. What have they said? Okay, go ahead.
Some states are responding. In fact, as I speak with you, some state governments pay higher in terms of emolument to their members than even federal government. And I can give copious examples. Obafemi Olabisi Onabanjo University, their salaries is ×2. The one we earn in Unilag. Rivers State University of Science and Tech. Niger Delta University. There are so many universities who are today paying more than the federal government. So they are responding, and those who are not responding, we're encouraging them to do so. Even the salaries of those in LASU is higher than those of us in Unilag.
So the question then to ask is, in the event that, this time that you have given lapses and there is no significant response from the federal or other state governments, will these universities that are complying, as you say, also be compelled to go on strike?
Yes, because an injury to one is an injury to all. That's why we have a union.
But you said that the states, you said the paymasters are complying, yet you want them to go on strike. But
there are other demands beyond mere payments. When we struggle for funding to revitalize universities, they get part of it irrespective of what their government is paying. So they are duty bound to obey the union and do what is right.
Okay, now we also know that there are various other levels of authority. I'm wondering if there's been other conversation with the House Committee on Education or the Senate Committee on Education or other interested stakeholders in this matter, because what we know about the university system in Nigeria is that those are the ivory towers. That's where we are supposed to get the brain of the nation from. When we hear these kinds of comments, Dr. Ashiru, it's very, very disheartening. So what are other stakeholders doing or saying about this impasse?
What do you expect them to say? When their children are in university of Nigeria, what do you expect them to say? The money I just told you was out of the last budget. It was under Honorable Gbajabiamila when he was speaker. He was the one who assured us. He identified that one of the reasons why those problems have remained intractable is because when we have agreements, they don't put them in the budget. And he worked commendably at that time to put these demands in the 2023 budget. He is now the chief of staff to the president. And we have written him severally to say that this emolument that you have put in the budget is yet to be released. Nothing has come out of it. Several interventions from Senate Committee on Education, on Tertiary Education, House of Representative Committee, even the current speaker had to intervene in our matter. All to no avail.
Well, Mr. Ashiru, I mean, it's a very precarious situation that we've all found ourselves in. I'm wondering how the government is going to cough out this money and give it to you, because those are some of the major things in your demands here. In an era where we're hearing that people can't pay, some state governments can't pay minimum wage of 30,000 naira, and then we're trying to increase that. And then with everything that's going on in the country, with everyone saying there is no money, ultimately, what would be a favorable response for the union, and how soon do you expect that response?
Immediately. And the other that there's no money is only diversionary and unpatriotic. There's money to do whatever person only recently died and another presidential jet. Only recently, we were told 90 billion was used for people to go to Hajj. Only recently, money was voted to do all kinds of things that may not directly impact on the Nigerian people. We are saying that government should understand the importance of tertiary education and see it as the bedrock for its future development. Until they do that, Nigeria will continue to wallow in poverty and continue in this underdevelopment state because adequate attention is not paid to the development of the mind. So we are appealing for the opting time and also requesting well-meaning Nigerians to help speak to government to do what is right before another round of industrial crisis in our universities.
We do have to wrap it up there. That'll be a good place. But good luck to the union and all that you do, and keep safe as well while you do what you need to do. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashiru, for joining us on the program. Mr. Dele Ashiru, the immediate past chairman of ASUU in Unilag. And of course, you saw there that he had to join us from his car. And that's because the floods in Lagos are upon Lagosians. And we're having those visuals for you right now, just so you can understand the scale of what the people in Lagos are going through at this point in time. And I think these are places that Ayo are very familiar with. I mean, if it was Abuja now, I'll be able to tell you exactly where this water is coming from, where it's leading to. Give us an insight.
Well, for one, you have to recognize one thing. I can't, make any case for any government, but the facts are facts. Lagos is one of the lowest, is one of the places with the lowest water beds in the country, and so it's a responsibility both on the part of the government and the people to ensure that we do not clog the drainage ways and all of that. So that's one of the things that I can just say here. We knew that the rains were going to happen. So why is this happening to us now? And I don't even know if the 7-day rain or whatever they call it has started, but that's what that is. Again, we could go back to the issue of eternal vigilance, won't we? But I find this, just before we go, Kelly, I find this message very, very, interesting. It's from one of our viewers. I sent it about an hour or two ago, almost 2 hours ago. It says, prosperity will come to Nigeria when we start to invest in the people, especially education and healthcare. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation, and people with a basic education can be industrious and work hard to the benefit of all. That's from Atinuke on X, and it's so precise and so profound to the conversation that we just. I mean,
we have a situation where a lot of things are being weaponized in this country, and those are things that, as a people, we have to understand that we cannot pretend that it's not happening. That you're not thinking about it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Absolutely.
So if things like poverty, lack of education are being weaponized, then those are things that we should focus on and insist that those things are delivered to the Nigerian people.
Well, I believe that the conversation will continue where you are. In the meantime, we have to let you have the rest of your day now. Thank you for the privilege of being part of it. I'm Ayo Makide.
Have a great day ahead. I'm Kayla Magwa.